Hi dear students, very good morning. Here is your Manish sir. I hope you all are fine and happy and enjoying your online classes sitting in your home. Um, Last class, it was about the tiger in the zoo, and I was very happy to see your responses written in your sheets about the assignments given related to the poem. And today, we are going to discuss and learn a new poem in class 10, the first flight, that is the bold poem written by John Berryman. First of all, let me give you a brief introduction about the poet. John Berryman was an American poet and scholar. He is best known for the Dream Songs, which was published in 1969, which was a sequence of 385 poems. He won Pulitzer Prize for the Dream Songs. He also won National Book Award. Dear students, before going to start the poem, let me ask every one of you a simple question. That is, have you ever lost anything or anyone which was or who was very close to your heart? I am sure that every one of you will tell yes, because there is no one who have ever lost anything or anyone in his or in her life. One or other way, today or tomorrow, or today or yesterday, we have lost, we are losing, and we are going to lose many things or many people who are with us today. And this poem, the bold poem, written by John Berryman, deals the same concept of loss of lovely thing or lovely people. The poet John Berryman, through his poem, The Bold Poem, has described the reality of life which every one of us has to face one day. He has touched the topic of how to stand up against the miseries and sorrows of life. It's a fact that every one of us has to face the loss of something or someone in our life, but we should survive. We should stand up against it and we have to move forward. That is the law of nature. And this beautiful poem is totally about the same concept. Now let's start the poem. Let me read it first. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over. There it is in the water. Word meaning merrily means happily or cheerfully. Bouncing means jumping up and down. Now let us see what does the poet say here. If you read, I hope you could easily understand the meaning of these four lines because it is very simple. Here you can see the poet is talking about a boy who has lost his ball. The poet wants to know about him and his reaction or his feeling because the boy has lost his ball. Further, the poet asks himself that what this boy will do after losing his ball. The poet has seen the ball going away from the boy. The poet says that the ball was cheerfully jumping up and down in the street. It means that when the ball skipped from boy's hand, it went into the street and later on it fell into the nearby river. Now let us see the poetic devices used in these first four lines. You can see there is no any rhyming scheme for this poem. It is written without rhyming. And the first poetic device you can find it is anaphora. Anaphora is a use of repeated words in two or more lines. Here you can see the word what is repeated in the first and second line, and the word merrily is repeated in the third and fourth line in the beginning. So it is nothing but anaphora, use of repeated words in two or more lines. You can also find assonance, that is repeated use of vowel. The O sound you can see if you consider the first line, boy now who lost. So repeated use of vowel O, it creates assonance. And another poetic device you can find here is imagery. In the third line when you read, merrily the ball merrily bouncing down the street and merrily over. there it is in the water. So it creates an image of ball bouncing and falling into the water. So it's a imagery. And also you can consider a repetition as a poetic device. In the first and second line, what is repeated and merely is repeated. Now let's move to the next part of the poem. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. I would not intrude on him a dime, another ball is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility. Let us see the meanings of the word here. Oh, there are other bowls. Here the poet is trying to tell that the loss is not important enough. Ultimate means intense, or here the great. Shaking grief, deep sorrow. Rigid means stiff or fixed. Trembling means shaking. Staring means looking constantly. Harbor, it is nothing but the dock or port. Intrude means interfere without consent. Dime is nothing but 10 cents of US dollar. Worthless, valueless. Senses means realizes. Responsibility is nothing but taking care of one's things. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. Here the poet says that there is no benefit of consoling the boy by saying that he will get another ball because he has other balls too. Moreover, the poet is trying to tell us that the value of the lost ball cannot be replaced with a new one. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. The poet says here, so because the boy is feeling very sad. The boy is completely surrounded by sorrow. He is sad because all the memories of the childhood days went down the harbor with the ball. Here, the poet says that the boy is very sad as the ball, which has now gone into the water, reminds him of all his childhood days. This loss is unbearable, unsufferable for him, and he is really grief-stricken. I would not intrude on him. Here the poet says that I will not interfere. The boy is sad, but the poet says I will not console him. A dime, another ball is worthless. I will not give him money. I will not ask him to purchase another ball because it is worthless. It is useless. Now he senses first responsibility. Through this experience, the child is learning what is the meaning of responsibility or keeping one's own things. Here the poet is trying to tell us, let him alone or let him learn the difficulty of losing things. Let him survive or let him stand up with the pain that brought him after the loss of the ball. That is how one learned from the experience of standing against the loss of life. Now let's move to the next part of the poem. Now he senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. People will take balls will be lost always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. Possessions means ownership. External means here things which feelings are not attached with. Ball here means it is personified as any material associated with people. He senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. People will take balls will be lost always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. The poet is trying to tell here that the boy has to learn that in this materialistic world, many of his belongings will be lost. He even personifies the ball as his belongings, be it the worldly things or be the relationship he is in the possession of. And he says that he has to learn to live without them no matter what. Dear students, if you just analyze, you can see we are happy with a lot of materials around us, and we are very happy with a lot of relationship. They are our possessions. The poet now reminds all of us that be ready to lose all your materials and all your relationships, because one or other day every one of us has to face the loss. The loss is the part, or it is the part of life. People will take balls will be lost always, little boy. We will be getting materials and relationship day by day, and day by day we will be losing them, or we will be losing them. And no one buys a ball back. Money is external. The poet here remind all of us an ultimate truth that the things or relations once lost, it is lost forever. You will never get it back as it is. We have to realize that fact. We have to stand up against that loss. And money is external. Money is external. The poet reminds us that you cannot buy everything by money. Money cannot bring back all the things you lost, all the relationship what you lost. Now let's move to the last part of the poem. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes the epistemology of laws, how to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. Desperate means hopeless. Epistemology is the theory of knowledge, or the study of the nature of knowledge itself. Stand up means survive or fight against. The poet is concluding the poem reminding every one of us the naked truth of life. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes the epistemology of laws, how to stand up. The poet says that the boy is learning how to stand up against the sense of lost things. This means that the boy is trying to learn the real truth of life, which states that one has to accept the miseries of life and stand up again. Knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. This truth of life, which states that you have to accept the miseries of life and stand up again, should be understood by every one of us. This is the truth which everyone has to learn in his or her lifetime. The harsh truth of standing up against the old miseries of life that everyone has to bear. Dear students, if you just analyze the present situation, more than 3 lakhs people have been died in the world due to COVID-19. Remember how many lakhs of other people and how many lakhs of other families are trying to cope up with the loss of lives. How many are trying to survive? How many are trying to stand up? Because it is the part of life. Loss is the part of life, and everyone has to cope up with that. Everyone should accept it as the part of life. Dear students, you can find alliteration here. A repetition of B sound in the beginning of 3 consecutive words. No one buys a ball back. The sound B is repeated, so it is alliteration. Dear students, I hope you all enjoyed the poem written by John Berryman. It is the ball poem. In the present situation, it is very meaningful poem. Wherever you have any doubts, please WhatsApp me as early as possible. Read the poem at least 4 to 5 times. Try to find the other scenarios of the meanings of the poem. I will be sending few questions regarding the poem. Please answer it as early as possible and send me through WhatsApp. Thank you.